999ers risk their lives every day keeping us safe.
We do this job to help people.
But all too often, they're abused and attacked.
The vehicle threw me like a rag doll. It should have killed me.
These personal attacks on police, paramedics and firefighters are at an all-time high.
I was in a fight for my life.
We don't put on this uniform to be assaulted.
Leaving them traumatised and unable to work.
It felt like I was saying goodbye to my career.
But while the violent criminals responsible are hunted down and brought to justice,
You're under arrest. You do not have to say anything.
our protectors fight to get well and back on the job.
I was not going to give up. There was no way.
It's took a hell of a lot of hard work to get back to the place I'm just now.
Ready to face the next critical incident. Today, a knife-wielding criminal holds a shopkeeper captive.
Get out, quick! He's got a knife on him, get out!
But a brave copper is determined to get her out safely.
As a member of the public, I can't leave him in there, so I've got to get back in.
Even if it means putting his own life in danger.
Ah! I've been stabbed in the arm.
I admit, I was absolutely terrified.
Also today, we hear how assaults on firefighters are at an all-time high, and how one attack almost ended one firefighter's career.
I fractured my nose in 11 places.
And a police car chase ends with a police officer under wheels.
I honestly thought that it was just going to go over my head.
The industrial port of Hartlepool in County Durham has been PC Mick Johnson's patch for the past 19 years.
On its good days, I love working here. It can get busy, it can get very violent, but overall, it's enjoyable and I work with a good team.
There's not much he hasn't come up against, and keeping the public safe from violent offenders is all part of the job. But in May 2017, Mick faced the worst shift of his entire career. It's a summer's evening, and Mick is just clocking in.
I was just coming on duty. I was due to start at 7 o'clock on the evening. I'm one of those people, I get in a bit early. I get in about a good half an hour before I'm due to start my shift, because I like to sit down, have a cuppa. On this occasion, I actually got turfed out 10 minutes early because of the emergency call that came in, and there was nobody else to go to it, but I was sat there with my uniform on, with all my equipment, and the sergeant came and said, "Can you just nip out to this?" Can you just nip out to this? Famous last words.
A report comes in that a man is behaving oddly in a local shop. As Mick attends, he switches on his body cam.
The full report was, there's a male acting very strangely up at a parade of shops.
421 arrived.
Made my way there. As I get to the door, two young girls come walking out rather quickly. A little bit scared, but they're also they were laughing as well, giggling as if to say, "Ooh, there's a weirdo in there."
Are you all right, Mara?
I walked in the shop. A shopkeeper's, she stood behind a counter, and there's a male stood in front of the counter, and he's got half a bottle of wine. So he was drunk as well, which doesn't help.
Right, come and talk to me. Come and talk to me. Come. What's your name? No, I've got somebody else coming here. I'll come and talk to you, mate. Yeah. What's happening, mate? What's your name first? What's your name?
Sandy!
All right, Sandy.
Sandy!
At one point, he came towards me because he could see my radio going off, and he was going, "Can I make a phone call on that?"
Come by in, my God, pressing buttons.
Come sit down. All
Hey.
right, steady.
No, I think just can I just press?
No, mate. Not allowed to.
No.
Not allowed to. Not allowed to, mate.
He started shouting at me, and he was rambling. I was asking him, "Look, tell me what the problem is."
Like everything was fine.
Has everything got to you a wee bit, has it, mate? I just want to help you. Honestly. Been doing this job 20 years, mate, you know what I mean? I know how to help people.
Where's your mate?
Hey?
Where's your mate?
They're on the way.
Go on, young man.
No, there's another one on the way. Are you going to come and have a chat with me or what?
No, go outside.
No, I'm not going outside, mate. I can't leave you like this, not in this state.
30 seconds later, he just reached into his pocket, his jacket pocket, and pulls out this kitchen knife.
I am.
No,
421, he's got a knife. More units here now, please. Get back now. Let's just spray you.
Brought me incapacitating spray out, and he's being extremely aggressive. And I thought, oh, I'm in trouble here.
Put the knife down.
At that point, then he backs away again, so he's on the back aisle of the shop and starts walking along the back. So I'm like shadowing him, walking across at the front of the aisles, keeping them in sight.
Put the knife down now, I shall CS you.
He walked back towards where the chiller cabinets was and then started coming towards me rather quickly.
Right, put the knife down, it's not worth it. Put the knife down! Get out, mate, and get out quick. He's got a knife on him, get out. Put the knife down, man! Put the knife...
We do get trained to react to knife incidents, but when one actually happens like that, your training does kick in, but so does the fear.
As Mick backs away, the shopkeeper is left trapped.
Put the knife down!
I've never done this!
Put it down!
I didn't do it! I've never done this!
Right, well, come outside and put the knife down, come on, now!
He then closed the shop door.
Mick has to get the shopkeeper safe, so he bravely tries to get back in.
I admit I was absolutely terrified, but if he would have been on his own, I would have left him in there. As a member of the public, I can't do that, so I've got to get back in. So he's just standing behind the door, so I pushed the door really hard to try and knock him off balance.
But as Mick pushes on the door, the offender stabs him.
Put the knife down! 421, I've been stabbed in the arm.
As I'm struggling with him behind the door, his arm comes around with the knife and stabs me in the forearm.
Move back, mate, get back, please.
The situation is desperate. With Mick stabbed and on his own, the shopkeeper is in serious danger.
Come back now! Get back!
Later, backup arrives, but the knife attacker isn't giving up. Knife attacks have reached epidemic levels in the UK, with the latest figures reporting over 40,000 offences a year. And in 2013, they even darkened the Queen's doorstep, as this footage filmed by an onlooker shows. This man caused chaos at the changing of the guard as he burst forward, brandishing knives and holding one to his neck. But the quick-acting officers moved in fast and used their tasers to detain him before he could do any serious harm. The offender had to undergo 12 months of mental health treatment and was also given a supervision order.
Confirming that power's off. Right, I'm going in.
In West Yorkshire, Watch Commander Phil Warden and a team of firefighters are perfecting their rescue skills.
2 casualties, 1 unresponsive, 1's at his ankle.
For Phil, this is the only career he ever wanted. But getting the job in the first place took perseverance.
Unfortunately, it took me 7 years of applying to get in the fire service. And when I did, I was over the moon, as you can imagine, doing the job that I wanted to do, to get out and help people in communities where I've grown up and I've lived all my life. From a very young age, I knew that being a firefighter is the job that I wanted to do.
How long do you think you're going to be?
Just need to make you safe so we can move you.
Make sure there's someone coming back through as soon as first casualty's out. Ready, brace, fly. That's it, nice and steady down this ramp. How did that feel, John?
Thanks.
Phil always knew his job was a dangerous one, but fire is no longer the only risk. A surge in vicious attacks means firefighters are constantly on their guard.
I don't understand at all why anyone would want to attack firefighters. We are very much a neutral presence. We are there to help, and that is it.
There's always been attacks on firefighters. It's the nature of the attack that's changed now. Now it's in-your-face abuse. It's firefighters actually physically getting assaulted. It's really, really quite intimidating.
At one time, it was just around the bonfire period. But in recent years, it's getting to be a common event. It's disgusting behaviour and it's not acceptable and it needs to stop.
All this footage has been filmed by West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service over the past few years. Attacks ranged from fireworks launched at officers, as this clip from 2017 shows, to rocks and bricks thrown directly at officers and engines. This clip shows Phil attending an incident where a gang were aiming fireworks at passers-by, Phil and his engine. This sort of thing is bad enough, but in 2007, Phil was the victim of an attack that almost ended his career, with injuries that still affect him today.
We'd got a 999 call that sent us to a house fire where there were people actually in the property while it was on fire.
House fire, person reported.
We proceeded to rescue an old lady from the property and put the fire out and made the property safe.
Job done, Phil and his team prepare to make their way back to the station. When, out of the blue...
As we were setting off, there was between 20 and 30 individuals with hoods on, balaclavas on, scarves over the faces that came out from the side streets that began to throw stones and lumps of concrete at the fire engine.
Phil's incident isn't captured on camera, but this footage from another similar incident shows how terrifying attacks like this can be.
At that point, I was in the back. A lump of concrete came through the side window of the fire engine and hit me in the face. It was shocked that it actually got through the window because they're quite small windows, and it was when I saw the blood that I realised that actually something wasn't right. The driver took probably the best action he could and set off and took us out of the situation.
Glad to escape the scene, Phil is rushed to hospital.
I got taken by one of our officers to Bradford Royal Infirmary, where they did x-rays to see the extent of the damage.
The news is not good. Phil has been seriously injured.
They called it a deviated septum, so the bit at the bottom of your nose had collapsed and there were a hole through and fractured my nose in 11 places. And then I had to have a 5.5-hour operation to repair the damage.
Over the next 10 years, Phil will have multiple surgeries to help him breathe again.
And I've been in constant pain for pretty much 10 years now. Although I had fractures in my nose, there was other damage behind my nose that they couldn't deal with at the time. It had a big impact. It had a big psychological impact for myself. It affected everything because I couldn't breathe properly. So whether I was sleeping or whether I was doing sport, it was always an issue. It affected most of my life.
It kind of brought home the reality of what actually could happen, because he was sat in the safety of the relative safety of the fire engine, and this brick came sailing through the window at him.
When I actually got back to work, that was the time that it sort of hit home. You can get quite low. You go through stages, and like at the bonfire period where attacks increase in certain areas, and you almost dread, you've got anxiety about going to those areas. Before the incident happened, I was quite happy and laughing and joking all the time. After the incident happens, you've always got it in the back of your head that it could happen again.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Yeah, right, we're a bit under attack from fireworks.
Just get out of that area then.
Yeah, good.
I'm shocked. I mean, I've known Phil a very long time, and I've spoken to him at length about it, and the reconstructive surgery that he's had to go through. I think it's been quite brutal. As well as it's had a physical impact on him, it's got to have had a psychological one as well. Every time he rolls out of the doors now, he's going to be thinking, is it going to happen again? And if it doesn't happen to me, it could happen to one of my colleagues. It does get in your head a little bit.
Phil's attackers would never pay the price for what they did that day.
Because it was such a big group, And at the time, because we left the scene to avoid any escalation, nothing happened to the group of individuals that were there.
I think these people should be exposed and dealt with, because it is unacceptable.
But there's light at the end of this long tunnel for Phil. 3 months ago, he had his final bout of surgery. Now, for the first time in 11 years, his life is back to normal.
Everything went according to plan. I've gone from being on quite strong painkillers to now I'm not on any pain relief at all because it's not needed. I can breathe through both sides of my nose. I can breathe quite well, and now I've got full feeling back around my nose. It's a wonderful feeling. I'm back to hopefully how I was before it happened, just a bit more experience. Back to doing sports that I love doing and having the ability to push myself.
So I won 135 pitching, front of the tower, second floor.
As well as being back to full health, Phil has been promoted to watch commander.
I'm just happier now than I've been in a long time.
Police officers confront extremely dangerous situations on a daily basis.
What are you doing?
This is the moment that a West Midlands police officer attending a burglary comes face to face with a gunman. He flees the scene, but doesn't get far. He's picked up a couple of hours later by armed police.
Get the ground! Get the ground!
And with the guns now pointing at him, it's his turn to feel the fear. On closer inspection, his gun was found to be a replica, but he was still charged with possession of an imitation firearm and banged up for more than 2 years. This guy won't be playing cops and robbers again anytime soon.
What's happening, mate? What's your name first? What's your name? All right, stand here.
Back in Hartlepool in County Durham, a routine call has escalated into something totally unexpected for PC Mick Johnson.
Put the knife down! 41, I've been stabbed in the arm.
Injured, and with a shopkeeper trapped, Mick needs backup, urgently.
Move back, mate. Get back, please.
PC John Embleton is on duty that evening and picks up Mick's call.
I was just finishing off with an incident that I'd been dealing with, but I was at the opposite side of the town when the shout came in for more units to attend to that location.
421, assistance required. Have a taser, officer.
You know the voices over the radio, you recognise who they are, and you can understand how they respond on the radio as well, whether or not they actually need help or not.
421, I've been stabbed in the arm.
I knew this was a genuine shout, and that's why I tried to get there as quick as I could.
I can hear the units coming, the sirens are going. He then comes back outside the shop and starts, again, just talking absolute nonsense.
Come back now!
From all across town, officers are racing to Mick.
3 of my colleagues turned up. 2 of them used the spray again on him. The 3rd one tasered him.
The dangerous knife attacker is finally brought to the ground.
When the 3 guys arrived, I was like, oh, thank God for that. So relieved.
Even with 3 police officers pinning him down, he's still not giving up. But it's a futile fight.
I thought it was about 5 minutes wait. It was 2 2-minute wait. From him producing that knife to those guys arriving, it was 2 minutes. And that's rapid. I couldn't ask for anything. I couldn't have asked for any quicker response than that.
The knife attacker is later charged with assault occasioning actual bodily harm, affray and assault police. He is handed a 12-month suspended sentence and spent 2 months on remand. But though the offender is safely in cuffs, Mick has collapsed to the ground.
When you hear the word knife, all sorts goes through your head, you know, how badly is he injured, is it continuing on, is the male still on scene, and you just got to get there as quick as you can.
Are you alright, honey?
I don't. I felt they hit the bone.
Did you?
Yeah.
I could see that his arm was covered in blood, and that's where I got him into my van, provided him first aid and bandaged him up.
You okay, mate? Yeah. Dave and Gareth dived all over him, so I'm grateful to them too. Otherwise I was in trouble, serious trouble.
Mick's in shock and needs to get to hospital. Shop assistants are often vulnerable to burglary and attacks. In this CCTV footage, a would-be robber enters the shop and threatens shop assistant Lorraine. He orders her to open the till and seems to be getting away with it, but quick thinking Lorraine is ready for him. She grabs a knife, used to open stationery stored by the till, and scares the offender, who leaves empty-handed. It's a brave move by Lorraine, but also a very risky one. Still to come. A car chase ends with PC Beverly Humphreys under wheels.
I honestly thought it was just going to go over my head.
And Mick's recovery is tougher than anyone expected.
Every day without fail, I relive that incident. I don't like it. I definitely don't like it. I don't want to be like this. It's horrible.
The North Wales coast is a haven for holidaymakers with its long sandy beaches and stunning scenery. But it was close to this picturesque location that police officers Beverly Humphreys and Gary Cooper attended an incident with life-changing consequences.
I was based in Abersoch police station, which is the next station along from Rill, because the holiday season was starting up and our area covered all of the caravan parks. We were on a night shift. We started at 10 p.m. I think it was just before 10 p.m. we were getting ready for the briefing.
When a job came in regarding reports of a domestic assault, which I've dealt with so many times in the past.
It was just another call.
It was anything but just another call, as just a few minutes later, Beverly would be fighting for her life. So as the pair head out to the caravan park, they have no idea what's in store.
We were trying to get any information that was available to us regarding what we were going to.
When Beverly and Gary arrive, the suspect has escaped in a stolen vehicle, taking his 2 young children with him.
It was just by chance that she started to shout that her partner, who had assaulted her, who was driving past on the main road by the pub that we were at that time. She also told us that he had 2 of the children in the car, and they were young children, a 9-month-old baby and a 3-year-old child as well.
With 2 young children in terrible danger, Bev and Gary give chase.
I just thought, crikey, what is this man going to do? One caravan site looks the same as the next one. Trying to tell the control room where we were, it was hard work. The vehicle pulled into a dead end. We've obviously followed the vehicle in. He didn't have anywhere to go.
But instead of turning himself in, the suspect goes on the attack.
He has turned the vehicle around to point at us, and we've more or less come nose to nose.
He stopped the vehicle. Bev got out of the passenger side. She's ran round to his door, opened it, and tried to get the male to come out of the vehicle.
At that point, he's put the car into reverse, but I was stuck between the car door and the actual vehicle itself. And as he's reversed the car back down the road, I was obviously taken with the car.
The next thing I saw was Bev sort of disappear under the door. And then obviously heard her screams.
I remember falling to the ground and I remember seeing the wheel. Sorry, I'm getting upset now. I remember seeing the wheel of the car, and I honestly thought that it was just going to go over my head. But it didn't, obviously. Sorry, I didn't expect this to happen. I don't remember anything really. I know I blacked out for some moments, I'm not sure how long.
I've by now come around the front of our car and could see Bev lying on the floor, clearly in agony and screaming.
With Bev blocking the only exit, her life is on the line.
The only way that car could get away because of the positioning of my vehicle would have been by going straight over Bev.
Gary knows he has to act fast.
My decision at that point was to run to his vehicle whilst taking out my baton. I've smashed his front windscreen. I've opened the driver's door. I've struck the male to disorientate him and dragged him from the car.
And that's when I pressed the red one on my radio.
The red one is an emergency backup button used only in extreme emergencies.
Where are you?
And this is the recording made from Bev's call that night.
2656, where are you?
That noise is sickening, really. It just makes you feel ill. It makes me feel ill anyway.
Dan Ball was on duty that night and took the emergency call.
And then I could hear Bev's voice in the background, could hear screaming. We had a rough idea where they were because they'd been dispatched to the job, so we knew roughly where that was. We were helped by the control room because all our radios are plotted on a map, but they were able to give us a fairly good indication as to where Bev and Gary were. And the scene that I was presented with was Bev on the floor at the side of the road.
As backup arrives, Gary has seized the offender.
I've taken him to the ground, handcuffed him. He's then been placed in the rear of our marked vehicle so that he was secured.
By the time we were dealing with him, he was basically saying how sorry he was. He certainly wasn't putting up any fight or any resistance at that point. He appeared to be upset about what happened. In my opinion, he was crying crocodile tears. He was pretending that he was sorry, and he was pretending that he didn't mean to do the things that he'd done. I didn't particularly believe him. We took him to custody, and he was booked in.
The game is up. The offender pleads guilty and is convicted of unauthorised taking of a motor vehicle, dangerous driving and grievous bodily harm. He's sentenced to 20 months in prison and disqualified from driving for 3 years. Later, Bev's injuries are life-changing.
People think, oh, 5 months off work, you know, brilliant. But no, it wasn't. It was every day trying to get better.
Attacks on emergency service workers don't always involve physical violence. Spitting is one of the most disgusting assaults 999ers face on a regular basis. In Derbyshire, a female police officer is being spat at 24 times as the offender laughs. He is handcuffed and en route to hospital in an ambulance.
Pack it in.
Spitting is considered common assault in the UK and can carry a number of penalties, including a fine, community order, or even a prison sentence of up to 6 months. Back in North Wales, police officer Beverly Humphreys is revisiting the scene where a car chase ended with her fighting for her life.
We've pulled on and we've driven down the length of the road almost. So it's at this point now where he must have turned around at the bottom and we've come nose to nose at that point. I don't think the police car had come this far down.
Bev suffered life-changing injuries that night, with serious damage to her right knee.
This is the x-ray that was taken whilst I was having the operation on my leg. This part of the bone here, that had shattered. So I had a bone graft and some pins and a plate inserted into the bone to stabilise the fracture. I was in Glenclwyd Hospital. I was in for nearly 2 weeks in total. I think that was purely to just get the pain under control. And then I was discharged and went home. I was off work for nearly 5 months. That included some time at Harrogate, which is a police treatment centre. I spent a number of weeks there, which is intense physiotherapy. I was worried about my job security. We've all got bills to pay, a mortgage to pay. I was really worried about work. Will I be able to work again? That was, well, certainly in the role that I was doing. It was every day trying to get more movement in my leg so I could get back to work. Because I'm reminded of it every single day, it stays with you. It's weird coming back. We haven't really had an opportunity, I suppose, over the years to talk about it. It was kind of put away, wasn't it?
I think with the job that we do, anything that you deal with that's traumatic, you just lock it away somewhere in your mind, don't you? It's just a coping mechanism, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah.
While Gary didn't sustain any physical injuries, the events of that night have left him scarred.
Guilt was what I felt, still do. Although I know it was his doing that she was injured, it doesn't stop you as a colleague from feeling guilty.
There's no need to feel guilty whatsoever. There was nothing we could have done to change what happened.
It's been 6 long years, but Bev is now feeling strong enough to draw a line under the attack.
I don't think it bothers me coming back here, actually. I was anticipating it to be worse than it is.
It just could have been so much different. It just makes you realise how quickly things can change in the job that we do, I suppose. The injury that Bev suffered was bad enough. But let's face it, I could be stood here on my own.
Yeah.
Putting the traumatic events of that night behind her has been tough for Bev, but she is one determined woman.
To get to the position where I am, I think I've done really, really well. I still don't have full range of movement in this knee, and I won't have. But the physiotherapist said at the beginning, if I can walk up a flight of stairs, then that's a good thing. And I can do, obviously, so much more than that. So I am proud of how I've recovered.
And although Bev can no longer work as a first response police officer, she's found a way to keep doing the job she loves.
All right, this is the job we're dealing with today.
I'm a detective within CID. I applied, had to do the exam. Obviously, I passed, and I've remained as a DC in the office since then.
Last night, there was an armed robbery in Prestatyn. Bev, what are the details you've got so far?
We believe the suspect, who has been armed with a firearm, has entered the store in Prestatyn, and there's 2 victims who are working on the counter at that time. I would have always taken that route in policing. I think that was a natural thing for me to do. It probably just happened a little bit earlier. I was not going to give up. There was no way I was going to be coming back to do something. I might not be able to go frontline policing, but the job I do is still so important. We believe we've got the identity of the offender now. There was no way I was going to give up.
Sometimes police officers in danger have to rely on members of the public to help them. In this clip caught on CCTV, an offender is resisting arrest, suspected of stealing a bicycle. North Yorkshire policeman Richard Farrer struggles with the man who isn't giving up easily. And as he tries to fight off the policeman, the pair of them are dragged into the middle of a busy road. Luckily, help is on hand from a passerby who is, handily, trained in jiu-jitsu and Thai boxing. He gets the man into what's known as a chokehold so that PC Farrer can get the cuffs on. But even now, the offender isn't giving up, and it takes another passing member of the public to help get his hands behind his back. But why was this criminal so keen to slip the officer's grip? It wasn't a stolen bicycle he was worried about, but the 12-inch butcher's blade he had hidden in his trousers. It wasn't spotted during the struggle, but picked up later. Luckily, the CCTV shows clearly where it came from, and the offender was sentenced to 30 months in prison.
Tea or coffee?
Tea, please.
Back in Hartlepool, County Durham, PC Mick Johnson and wife Julie are celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary.
Brand new today.
That's his anniversary
It's
present.
my anniversary present.
I get diamonds, he gets a tattoo.
While today is a happy day, Mick is still suffering the effects of a terrifying incident which took place over a year ago.
I was seen by a paramedic at the scene and then went down to North Tees Hospital just to get checked out. A couple of stitches in my arm. The physical injury was nothing. Came back to the office to do a statement of what had happened. And I sat down at my computer and started typing. And I could not physically remember what had happened. I was going, well, did I do this? Did I do that? I just couldn't do it.
He seemed to be quite laid back about it when he was telling me, which, of course, put warning signs in my head, really. But from then on, I knew that he wasn't right because he was so quiet. There's sort of like the days went on, it just suddenly dawned on me and I thought there's been no laughter, no daft jokes, and he was just too quiet. He started getting really angry. I mean, he was shouting at me because I hadn't got in the bath within 10 minutes of him running this bath, or, you know, and I was thinking, is he shouting at? I'm watching the end of the programme, I'll get in the bath. And then Sam, our youngest, said, Dad, the slightest thing I do at the moment, you're shouting at me all the time. I think that's when he realised.
Obviously, I didn't have a clue that I was yelling at you or Sam or the kids. I didn't have a clue I was having these mood swings. I knew I wasn't sleeping. Waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, just coming down here and sitting down and gazing at the black television screen and having a cuppa. And when you turned around to me and said, you're shouting at us all the time, that hurt. That hurt me because I thought, maybe I'm not right. And that's when, into the doctors.
Yeah.
Went to see my GP. He did some tests with me and he went, you've got PTSD, there's no doubt about you. You've got all the signs and symptoms. I'm ex-military, I'd seen people, some of my friends with PTSD from the military, and didn't like that, didn't like how I saw them.
Post-traumatic stress disorder is an anxiety disorder caused by very distressing events.
Get out, quick! Get out!
Symptoms can include flashbacks, nightmares, repetitive images and physical sensations such as pain, sweating and nausea.
Every day without fail, I relive that incident. I could see that bloke's face in front of me now holding that knife. That's the most scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I could have been killed on that one, I know that. This PTSD, I don't like it. I definitely don't like it. I don't want to be like this. It's horrible.
I absolutely hate him because he probably doesn't even think about that now, and he's affected a family. It's been hard. It's horrible to see somebody normally so strong have those defences knocked down a little bit and that they need some help. You don't like to think that of anybody that you love. It's hard. It is hard because I just want it all to go away.
I just want to get rid of this now, put it right behind me and just get on with my life and get on with our life.
And that's exactly what Mick is doing. Thankfully, he's being given specialised therapy designed to treat his PTSD.
Basically, you sit in a room, you watch a light by, you have to select a target image of the worst image that you can think of during the incident, and then just let your mind wander, let your mind relax. And the overall point of it is to try and you can't suppress the memory. That's always going to be there. But it's a case of what you're trying to get is you're trying to make it so it doesn't actually affect you as much. It doesn't cause you as much stress and anxiety. After that, I feel a hell of a lot better than I have done. I was beginning to wonder what it was all about. I couldn't understand anything about it, why it was happening. Then something just clicked and things started working.
Tonight marks a new chapter for Mick. After several months of intensive therapy, Mick's colleagues have organised a celebration to toast his recovery.
I'm meeting up with friends and colleagues from my shift here tonight. My wife's coming along, my son's in there with his girlfriend. It's good to just have people around you that know you and they know what you like. And it's good, it's fantastic, basically. This is basically me finishing off what's been a traumatic past 18 months or so. I know what could have happened, I know what did happen, and I know now that hopefully it's not going to affect me in a negative way in any time in the future.
What he'd done that day, he put himself in danger in order to protect people who worked in the shop, but also putting himself at risk and his life potentially. His normal bubbly self, he does seem to be that chirpy self that he always is, the chirpy chap.
Since the treatment, it seems to have brought the Mick back that we know, and it looks as though it's worked, you know, and fingers crossed it's been put at the back of his mind. He can just continue on with the rest of his career.
And Mick's son Sam is especially pleased to see his dad recovered and well.
You can tell confidence has came back into him about things. He's more outgoing. He just seems to be a lot more for like a people person as well. Things have started to change and look up really.
Definitely feel as if I've got Mick back. He's a lot happier, he's much more relaxed.
Supporting family and friends has been absolutely fantastic, but the one thing I will say as well is the support that I've had from the Cleveland Police has been out of this world. It's been really good.
I think it's harder for men to admit that they need help.
If anybody goes through this sort of thing, accept help. It's not being macho or being a big man, just trying to just bully your way through it. It doesn't work. I tried it, it didn't work. I'm now back to as normal as I'm going to be, as normal as I can be.
Mick and his wife Julie also have another reason to celebrate.
A month ago we found out that we're going to be grandparents.
It's a new chapter, it's one I'm really looking forward to next year. It's going to be something else.
Because the boys have grown up, a lot of the time now is for us to enjoy, isn't it?
Yeah.